From Revelation chapter 13 verse 3. Revelation chapter 13 verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. May the Lord bless these words. The title of the message is called The Ultimate Test. On October 28, 2022, I had a dream. I don't usually remember my dreams, but I woke up in this one and remembered it. I found myself in this room entering a competition, and there were 4 boxes and something else I couldn't see at the time. There was 5 questions I had to get right to get a valuable prize. On each box there was a question. I don't know what the questions were, but I must have answered them right to get to box 4. And someone said to me, not many people get to box 4. So, and the 4th question I must have got right to get to the 5th box. Then I saw the something I mentioned earlier that I couldn't see before. It was a miniature building. It was about 2.5 feet high. It looked strange. Nothing looked right about it. One part looked like a mosque, and another part looked like a Sikh temple. Then there was a Jewish synagogue. Then there was all the churches that don't preach the truth, you know, all those. 10 Downing Street, the White House, and the Vatican had to be there. Going back to the time I'd reached number 4, my mind was made up. I'm not going to do anything that's not pleasing to God. There were many people in the room, but I couldn't see the faces because there was a bit fog. I didn't recognise any of the voices either. All I knew that they were getting excited because I'd reached box 5. Then they was all crowding round me, and one of them said, as I was looking at this building, all you have to do is to bow down and worship it. Worship it. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Because I knew the 1st and 2nd commandment says, thou shalt not have any gods before me, nor worship them. At this, some of them shouted, what are we going to do with her? And they all echoed the same thing, and they was running around like headless chickens. Then I woke up. What a relief. It was true, you know. What a relief. This reminds me of the church and state, Babylon, the mother of harlots, and all her wicked daughters, false religions, apostate Protestants, and all the rest of them. I was so glad in my dream that I dealt with the situation the right way, because you've got no control over your dreams. You know, and I had another dream. This was about 6 months after Anne died, and she came to me in a dream. I thought, I'm not letting her speak. I said, in the name of Jesus, get out, because we know you don't see your dead relatives. It's the wicked angels and Satan impersonating them. So we need to fortify our minds with the truth, so we're not deceived. I could have easily been deceived, you know, just missing your mother 6 weeks after, and seeing her in a dream, you know. But by God's grace, I knew the truth. And what surprises me that you have no control over your dream, but I answered the right way by God's grace. Fortify your mind with the word of truth. Reminds you.